Thanks for joining me today. Today I want to talk about week 1 of my 6-week experiment of trying out the carnivore diet in the 6 weeks leading up to my next marathon training block. As I mentioned in the original video, the objective is to try to relieve some of the arthritis pain in my hands and also to try to get me down as close as I can get to my ideal racing weight before my marathon training block begins. And I think that'll give me a really good opportunity to get a solid training block in at that ideal race weight without having to worry about dropping weight while I'm training. And I can get really good results from my speed work and my speed endurance work. So that's why I'm doing it. And I've got some interesting update for you. So let's talk about the details. So first of all, in the first 7 days, I have not found any difference in my hands. The pain in my hands remains at a 3 out of 10 pretty much all day, and it goes up to an 8 or 9 while I'm working with my hands. So last weekend I was chiseling out with a hammer and chisel, chiseling out some concrete, and absolutely pure agony. It was very sore for most of that, but that's part of being my age, in my late 50s. That's just going to be the way it is. The carnivore diet is an attempt to try to relieve some of that arthritic pain. And hopefully over the next 6 weeks, I can get that, that 3 down to a 2 or a 1, and that 8 or a 9 down to maybe a 5 or a 6. That would be hugely beneficial. I'm not going to be able to give this carnivore diet the 3 to 4 month time frame that it would require to start relieving all of the joint inflammation and things like that a lot of carnivore diet people report back saying that they get seriously good results over that time frame. I just don't have that time frame, and I'm not prepared to train for a fast marathon on the carnivore diet. It's just not ideal. So let me just try to explain a little bit about that. When it comes to the carnivore diet and being fat adapted, that really does work well for somebody that is an endurance runner, but does not really care about their times. If you just want to run a long way, being fat adapted is a really good method to remain, well fueled up, and it's very easy to fuel up on the run. The problem with it is it's less efficient. Your body takes more time and more effort to oxidize fat for energy than it does to, say, take glycogen out of the muscles and the liver where it's already stored, and it's much quicker. So it's not ideal for a fast marathon, but it is pretty good if you're just wanting to run a long distance. Okay, one of the other benefits that I was hoping to receive is mental clarity. Not that I had any problems with my mental clarity to begin with. I would consider my lifestyle to keep me well rested, well alert during the day. I sleep really well at night. But what people who are on the carnivore diet report is that they get a mental clarity like they've never experienced before. And I think that takes about 2 to 3 weeks to kick in. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and I hope to experience that myself, but I haven't yet. All right, let's talk about the data first of all, and then I'll talk about how it has affected my running at the end. Okay, so stick around for that. It's really interesting, and it might not be what you expect. So I am a real numbers nerd. I record everything. So whether it's nutrition, sleep, I take my data on all my runs, my walks, my resting heart rate, which I find a fascinating metric to follow. So let's start with the statistics of week 1. I weigh in on a Friday, every Friday morning. So this particular weigh-in is only showing 5 days on the carnivore diet. And in those first 5 days on the carnivore diet, I lost 8.6 pounds, which is 3.9 kilograms, or just over a half a stone, right? That is remarkable. Keeping in mind that is 9/10 of that weight is glycogen and water, right? I have depleted my glycogen stores by this point. Weight loss will slow down considerably over the next 5 weeks as I go through this experiment. But that's huge, right? That's absolutely huge. And when I start getting back to a normal balanced diet, that will creep back up again, which is fine. I'm totally expecting that. But still amazing. That actually speaks to the way my body has adapted to the years and years of running, that I am able to store, I would guess, around 8 pounds of glycogen and water, right? That's a lot of energy. And that's probably why I can run, big long runs without fueling on the run. If I was to run fast, I couldn't do that, but that is a testament to what us runners are able to store, how we're adapted to store glycogen over a lengthy period of time. We adapt to be able to store more. As far as sleep goes, I'm generally a good 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep a night, and I'm really healthy at that particular time frame. This past week, the rest of these details are over 7 days. Just the weigh-in is 5 days. But over the last 7 days, I averaged 7 hours and 39 minutes of sleep. So a little bit above average. It's not something I like to do. I think I would like to get out of bed a little bit earlier, but it's been a really busy week. So I don't know if this has anything to do with carnivore. It's more to do with my particular lifestyle and my busy week, my later nights. Okay, but that averaged out to 29 minutes of deep sleep, 5 hours and 15 minutes of light sleep, and 1 hour and 55 minutes of REM sleep. Interesting. We'll see how that changes over the course of the next 5 weeks. Okay, now here's the real interesting metrics, and that's nutrition. So this is completely different to what I normally do. I like my carbs, right? I really like my carbs. I love bread. I love pizza. I love pasta. I love rice. I would enjoy biscuits and, all kinds of different things. But this is a completely different profile for me. And so interestingly, it is over the last 7 days, I've averaged 150 grams of protein, only 13 grams of carbs per day, and 118 grams of fat. That's 1,715 kilocalories on average over the last 7 days per day. That is close to my objective. I want to keep a calorie deficit of somewhere around 1,800 calories. That is a little bit below what I've been hoping for, but I have to say my appetite is fine. I take clear and precise notes every day of how I'm feeling as far as appetite goes. And I sometimes, over the last 7 days, I have forgot to eat because I haven't felt hungry, which is crazy. That is absolutely crazy for me. It's a completely different feeling that I've had over the last 7 days on the carnivore diet. So interesting. Those actually work out to 35% of my calories are from protein, 3% are from carbs, and 62% are from fat. Again, massively changed from what I normally do. That would normally look like about 25 from protein, about 25 from fat, and about 50% of my calories are normally from carbs. So that's a massive change. But I think my body has adapted quite well. Interesting. Yeah. The other thing is I generally try to drink about 3 liters of water per day when I'm on a normal balanced diet. I've been advised to drink more on carnivore, and so I've been drinking on average 4.5 liters of water per day. or 1.18 gallons of water per day. So that's a little bit more than normal, but not crazy. It doesn't ever feel like a struggle. I have a 750 ml water bottle. I just drink that one after the other throughout the day, and it's no problem at all. For average daily steps, I'm averaging 11,800 steps per day. Fairly normal for me. I do try to aim for 10,000 a day, just as a daily goal. Keeps me moving, keeps me focused on daily movement, and that's all. It's not a particularly magic number, but I like to shoot for it every day anyway. And the last metric is I ran 4 days for a total of 25 miles, or about 40K. Yeah, so it's a little bit less volume than normal. I'm not in marathon training at the minute, so I'm just ticking over. I want to keep myself topped up, and no crazy miles, no particularly hard, intense sessions. I will have some steady work in there and some longer sessions, but probably nothing over 13, 15 miles tops. And 4 days during the week is probably where I'm going to land over the next 5 more weeks. It just makes sense for me to keep topped up like that without getting myself into a position where I'm setting myself back when I want to start my marathon training block in 5 weeks' time. So now for the results of week 1. How am I feeling on the carnivore diet? Well, first of all, when it comes to running, it's taking a lot longer for me to get warmed up and to feel comfortable on my run. Even on an easy run, it just feels like my legs are heavy. I don't have that energy stored in there, and it's a difficult thing to get started. That said, once I get into my rhythm at about 2 miles or so, it just feels like I could go on and on and on and on. It's not an issue, but it is an issue to get started, and it's not unusual. I suppose a lot of us will tend to ease into a run, like even an easy run, but it is taking a little bit longer for me at this point. Pace is a real difficult thing to achieve. What was easy 3 weeks ago is feeling like a steady, or even a steady hard run for me at the minute. So I'm talking RPE, rate of perceived effort. It has got more difficult. Okay, so there are a number of circumstances that are, a little bit unusual. We are having a very hot summer at the minute, and it's only the beginning of July. We're hitting temps of, 35, 36, 37. I'm starting my runs at 25, 26 degrees. That's about 90, or thereabouts, 26, 50, 80. Yeah, it's not far off 90. And so that whenever you're running in the heat, it's more about effort and not about pace. Your body is churning through fuel a lot quicker. It's, you're going and you're sweating a lot more, you're losing electrolytes and all the rest. So it's more difficult to keep a pace or to even achieve a pace when you're running in the summer. So for me, I'm not worried about pace at the minute. It is all about perceived effort. My body will get the adaptations that I'm looking for on these runs, although in this period of the next 5 weeks, I'm not all that worried about adaptation. Maybe more heat adaptation than anything, and that's really useful for even a winter marathon. To be heat adapted, your body will act and perform a lot more efficiently. So that's a plus. Other than that, what am I doing? I'm supplementing with a multivitamin with iron, because in the summer, as a runner, sweating a lot more, you will lose a lot more iron. I've experienced iron deficiencies a couple of times over the last couple of years. It's a terrible experience. You're just exhausted all the time, no energy. I could have spent days in bed and not felt any more energetic. So iron is a key supplement for me. And the other thing is electrolytes every day, making sure I'm topped up with all of the electrolytes by taking a couple of tablets every day. So those are important as well. So that's interesting. I would say this has been an extremely useful week, and I'm very much looking forward to week 2. Uh, just a couple of other notes, completely unrelated. If you enjoy this kind of content and you are interested in seeing what happens to a marathon runner when they're on a carnivore diet and watch their body uh, adapt to becoming fat adapted, as opposed to a normal runner who is consuming glycogen for their runs, this will be an interesting experiment to follow along. So I do ask you to subscribe and hit the bell there and get notifications when new videos come out, because there will be a new video every week now. And the other thing is, we've changed the cover of my first book, Heart for Running, where I talk about my experience of experiencing a stroke and recovery from the heart surgery afterwards. And so it's a new cover. I like the cover. It's so much better than the previous one. Uh, and so if you have read it, if you've never seen it before, I'd love to get your feedback on what you think of the cover, because it is, in my opinion, a lot better. All right, I think that's all I've got. So follow along, and I'll see you next week with week 2 update. So far, so good. All right, thanks.